Exactly. So what has happened is that allegedly a permit to dewater has been granted. However, what is happening right now is the furthest thing from dewatering. So anyone can actually go and Google civil engineering dewatering. And there's plenty of videos that will show you exactly what dewatering is and the four main methods by which it is conducted. And it's not what's happening here. What is happening here is blatant disrespect for the environment and for the residents of Brighton. So on Tuesday, as we know, and you can get Dave to bring up the images, there's that one right there shows you the discoloration of the water. So on Tuesday, they showed up and they started pumping that off into the sand, but it created a trench and started going straight into the sea. Now, when they removed that water from there, it was left with a residue. So Dave, bring up the other one where there's just a very little water. Not that one. Just keep going. Yes, because you can see the marl there that they put down, the big stone that they put down. There's also mesh in there. But
so you have another picture that's there?
Yes, there's other pictures there. Just
okay, so you want another one. Okay.
You can show all of them.
Yes. Okay.
But what happened on Tuesday, okay, that's it right there. You can actually see the clumps of fungus and let's call it fecal matter that have settled at the bottom of that. So that was what happened when they pumped off the water on Tuesday. And that had a scent that was so strong that it permeated the entire neighborhood. And people other people were calling, wondering.
If we could see that other picture, would be great. If we could see that other picture. Oh no, the one that had the one with the clumps.
Put it back to that one. It shows you that.
Yeah, wow.
Something in that is in that water. You can speculate as to what it is, but we smelled what it was.
So you're saying, so let's go over that because we had some interruption. So you're saying that the neighbors were complaining of a scent?
So the neighbors were complaining. It was inside of my house all into the night and the next day. And they were excavating over that, putting it in trucks. And as the trucks were going down the road, it was spilling out of the bed of the trucks because it was wet onto the road. Other neighbors could smell it, but it took over the entire neighborhood. And the other neighbors, some of them got involved and were calling the Environmental Protection Department to report it. Okay? So it was terrible. It affected everyone. The workers were holding their nose like this. Tourists were passing to go to the beach and were holding their nose. We were out here like this. It was horrible.
And let me ask you something. What's the name of this company? The company that is doing this this development in Brighton.
We already know that he's like Voldemort. You cannot say his name.
No, right? I can say his name because we're not saying he did anything. The name of the person is Mark Maloney. Mark Maloney. If you're listening, what we need to understand what is in this water. And do you have permission to do this? I can call your name because I'm asking you a question. You're not above the law. And if it is that you're doing something wrong in Brighton, you must be held accountable for it, Mark Maloney. We're asking you a question. Yes, continue, please.
So here's what continued to go on. So the entire day was a very stinky day on Tuesday. Wednesday, they came and they began excavating further. And now they're stuck with a massive swimming pool full of brackish water and sediment, which is from the old limestone and other things that were there. And that is going directly into the sea. So Dave can run some more slides there. There's a video of the sea actually where it is white. Now that is what they were doing today. If you want to play that video, that's what they were doing today. They ran the excavator on the beach and they were digging that trench and putting down what looks like a steel pipe or some kind of thing. I wasn't close enough to it to see what the material was, but it has several channels on it. And they've connected the hose to that. And now that is under the surface of the sand in the shoreline itself, so that it wouldn't be so obvious that they're doing it. So my point is that every time they are made to stop or they're told something,
Yeah.
the very next day or whenever they get a chance, they come back and do the same thing again in a different way.
Right.
Right?
Okay, so this is it going out.
That is the sewage actually coming through the channel. So you can play that video. That liquid is coming through because there's a pipe behind there and it's going directly into the sea there, you can see.
So hold a minute, folks listening. The water that was stinking up the neighborhood, which we're not sure what is in that water that is stinking up the neighborhood, is now going into the sea that people are bathing in. That people go to the beach. The water is going out into the sea, and that's why. Let me tell you that this is the thing that happens in here. A lot of fear. You understand? And a lot of these people, whether they have power because we gave them power for their political power, or they have a whole lot of money, and then a lot of people are afraid of them. And where you are asking a question, you are on here and you want to know what is going on in your neighborhood. Mr. Maloney, what are you pumping into the sea? Are you pumping something into the sea?
Well, he has already pumped it into the sea. It is gone now, and it is in the sea. It's all in the sea now.
Right.
So they have excavated now.
What it is, but go ahead.
Right. So they have excavated now. So go through when you're finished showing that, go through to the next video of the sea itself, and let me show you the sediment on the surface of the water. Now, what is important here, I actually have it in front of me. I'll say it while you are bringing that video up. Now, cement dust causes something called smothering, and it is because of the chemicals that might be in the cement dust. But we are dealing with limestone particles and other remnants of the old buildings that were there, the old soft stone buildings that were there. So all of that will disrupt the pH balance of the water, and it will change, I guess, the alkalinity of the water is the simplest way to say it. It can be toxic to the reefs because what will happen is it will cover over the reefs once it settles. It can even cause bleaching of the reefs. It can disrupt the water table, all kinds of different things. And so the coral cannot reproduce in conditions like that. Now, this is sea turtle season. I am seeing the sea turtles when I go on the beach, and they're popping their heads up because they're waiting for it to be quiet so they can lay. So the sea turtles are swimming around in that. They're probably getting covered with it. Anything that they eat is getting covered with it because sometimes they like to eat the sargassum. As you can see, the sargassum is there as well. You know? So the environment is being affected by this in a detrimental way. It is so bad that it is going all the way down the coast, all the way down past States, down to the hot pot. That's how far it is going. So you can see in the next video, the sediment actually in the water.
So here you can see again, this is the footage. There's the marl. There's a pipe buried behind there with mesh. And there is the gray discolored sewage water making its way down towards the shoreline. Here you can see the discoloration again of the contaminated water making its way through the trench. At this time, they have the filtration system. However, it does not appear to be working. You can see the after effects because clearly the filtration system is not working, and this is the milky white sea that we are left with as a result of the pumping of the sediment and the contaminated water into the sea. Again, we see that it is like milk. All of that is the sediment that has traveled from the front of the construction site on the beach all the way down. And now you can see here, this is from Stades. It has made its way all the way down by Stades and is traveling further down the coast. The sea is milky, and you can see how far it is coming from the original pumping site again, we can see the white milky color, and we can see how thick it actually is. It's almost like somebody tried to clean a white paintbrush in a bucket of water. And that is what has been pumped from the construction site directly into the sea.